I remember being offered a movie by the incredible Vishal Bharadwaj ji. Yeah, I know everybody, but has anybody helped me and given me work? Never. So दोस्ती से काम नहीं मिलता है. बाकी तो सब numbers हैं. Numbers तो कोई भी खरीद सकता है. It is really hard to make it in films for anybody. Malaika has been very clear that she was never really offered those kind of roles, nor did she think of herself too much to get into acting. The original Hothon Pe Aisi Baat is so incredibly iconic. The hook line was lending itself to be remade for like today's generation.
Already garnered 1.2 million views on YouTube. Her latest release, Hothon Pe Aisi Baat, aptly titled Lips. Sophie Choudry is right alongside me, her usual energetic, elevated, gorgeous self. I almost said hot.
You're welcome to.
Hothon Pe Aisi Baat mein thoda daba ke chala. But so typical is that description, you know, to put you in that category of hot, hot, hot. Are you not tired of it, Sophie?
Honestly, I'm not, because I know that many would love to be and try to be and aim to be. So if it's something that is naturally associated with me, I take it as a compliment, because I've never tried to be it. Maybe it's just a part of who I am, as long as there's other elements to go with it. And it's not just at hot. But no, it's a compliment, of course.
And hotness all across in every frame, again in this one as well.
Oh, thank you.
Can you tell me the germ of an idea? Where did it come from? How did you work on it? And how excited were you to execute this one?
Honestly, after my last song, which was Gori Hai, I was very sure that I wanted to do an absolute pure original. And that was what was in my mind, and that's what I've been working on, and you'll get to see that this year. But then Saregama approached me because Gori Hai connected with so many people. They were like, you know, why don't we adapt a song? I said, what do you mean? They said, we'll make a completely original song, but we'll retain an old hook line. Almost kind of like how Raghav does and things like that. And they're like, you're known for it. And they came to me with a few options of songs, and I said, these are all extremely iconic, because Saregama has those kind of songs. They are all those classic iconic songs. And they said, well, you know, we think you should definitely try and do one of these. One of them I looked at and I said, nobody should ever touch this, I'm telling you right now. And then I looked at this one and I said, really shouldn't touch this, but this could be interesting.
Absolutely.
Because the original Hothon Pe Aisi Baat is so incredibly iconic and complex.
Absolutely.
The song has so many twists and turns. It's got a very desi vibe also. And I felt like the hook line was lending itself to be remade for like today's generation. So I said, okay, we can try this. And they said, we've got this lovely young composer called Rahi and this writer called Ardas. And I said, chalo dekhte hain wo kya karte hain. I was still not sure. And Ardas wrote this lovely line and sent it to me, and it was Zuba par mota sa tala laga ke chali aayi. I said, that's a very interesting thought. Like Zuba pe mota sa tala, I've never heard that before. And I said, it's connecting with Hothon Pe Aisi Baat. I said, ye acha ban sakta hai. That's how the whole thing came about, and we started working on the song.
All the songs that you have done so far, they are hits. They have garnered views, and as I said in my introduction, 1.2 million views.
That's very low for me, but that's also
and still counting. Still counting.
100,000 reels is what I'm very excited about, and streams, which has become fantastic. Because I think the importance of YouTube is there, but not as much as it used to be. I think people are listening more and consuming more social media content.
My question therefore was, so when you have a slew of songs, one hit after another, how do you demarcate A from B, B to C?
You know, I think different things mean hits to different people. You know, some people will measure it solely perhaps on YouTube views, but I mean, are they real, are they not? Let's be very honest, that's how it works today. So much of music is about creating the perception. But what really for me is important is how many people are actually connecting with the song and consuming the song. So that'll come down to streams. And for me, especially in today's day and age, I think how many people are dancing on it, how many people are making reels on it, how many people are tagging me, am I seeing it connect? If I'm going somewhere for a show, are people asking me for that song? I think that means a lot more. And I think in today's day and age, it's a very cluttered market. There's so many things releasing all the time. So if yours breaks through in a certain way, that in itself is a success. बाकी तो सब numbers हैं. Numbers तो कोई भी खरीद सकता है. But are people really loving your song? That you get to find out when you're actually connecting with people.
Absolutely. And I, interestingly, you put that other elements in that question of hotness, as long as you're identified with other elements as well, the hotness doesn't matter, or is perhaps welcoming. What are those other elements that you were perhaps referring to?
Well, I think very much when I started doing movies, if you were seen as hot, then that was the only thing you could do. Hot meant that she can't do drama, she can't have emotions. Hot means she's hot.
Yeah.
As if that is like a characteristic, that is your personality. Hot is not personality. Personality has many other things, many other facets. You know, I'm intelligent, I'm confident, I'm well-spoken, I'm emotional, I'm sensitive, and physically, perhaps I'm attractive and hot. So I can't just play a hot role. That does not make any sense, but that's what it used to be. You used to immediately be put into a box and you'd be told, you know, don't think, just be. You know, and that's very difficult for someone like me. So for me, you know, I graduated from the London School of Economics. I'm a brainy girl. I have a voice. So when you're told to not have a voice, it's a little bit difficult. Especially as a singer, to not have a voice, I'm like, that's who I am. I have a voice. So hot is welcome. I mean, for me, you know, a huge inspiration of my life is Jennifer Lopez. I mean, she is the queen of hotness, but she is so much more. She's a businesswoman, she's an entrepreneur, she's a fantastic performer, she's an actor. She's got so much more than just the image of being hot. So that's why I always say, you know, it comes with a lot more, I think. And let's also accept the fact that, you know, like, there's a lot of dedication involved, you know, to keep reinventing yourself, to keep staying relevant. So all of that was as part of it.
The moment you're put in a song, somehow the men around you become somewhat inconsequential. Did you feel that poor thing for poor Freddie?
No! First of all, Freddie is one of my closest friends and he looks so handsome in the video. And for me, it's really important that there should be a thirst trap for the girls as well. It's not just about me. And I'm so happy that people have loved Freddie's look in this. And I think Freddie, as a good friend, was also, every time I said to him, he's like, listen, this is all about you. And I'm like, no, Fred, it's also about you. It's about our chemistry. He's like, but your song is you, and I'm here as your friend to be there for you. And that is an amazing thing. But it's so nice when he calls me and he tells me, you know, people are saying they're loving my look and they haven't seen me look like a hero, because he's one of the best looking guys in the country. But in movies, he's been more of a villain. Good looking villain, but villain. And I was like, but you're like that face, it's like that vintage hero, you know, back in the day, Milan Soman supermodel face, you know. So I was so happy to have him in this video like that.
Coming back again to that point that you raised, that the personality has to be seen, the various facets and dimensions need to be explored. Do you have a difficult time when you approach a particular work or directors or makers that you have to put forth all these qualities as well? Hey, I am more than what I'm perceived to be as. So do you have a difficulty there? Do you have a challenge there? If so, how do you overcome those challenges?
Oh, I stopped approaching people and doing all of that a long time ago. The toughest thing that producers and directors used to face when they used to cast me is they had a problem that I was already a VJ and I was a pop star, and it was like, she wants to do everything. She needs to choose one thing. And that was a problem for me, because I was like, but I am multitasking and multi-talented, which today is valued. Back then it was not. So that was the problem that they had. And so I would end up having to pick and choose out of what was offered to me. And it got to a point where I was like, hang on a minute. I am only going to do something if I really, really want to. Otherwise, I'm not inclined to do it, because I am fortunate to have created my own niche where I am so busy hosting some of the biggest shows. I am performing live for my music shows all the time. I'm forever traveling. I'm working on my singles. I'm creating my own music videos in which I have creative control. That why will I go and just be in something for the sake of it? So I stopped approaching and thinking about that a long time ago. You know, and I feel that when something is meant for me and right for me, it will come and it will happen. And you're going to see me on the big screen next month anyway in something. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
This is a question perhaps I can put only to you, or perhaps a certain community, certain people from the community. When I say that, I'm referring to VJs turned actors and models and etc. Because what happens is that, and of course the likes of Ayushmann Khurrana or
Adi.
say Adi and Malaika and you. So a VJ, when turns into an actor, somehow that personality and the persona of a host sort of comes forth, and the actors perhaps takes a back seat. So how does one strike that balance? You know, stepping out of that VJ zone and then transforming, yourself to become a character?
I think that really depends on the character that you get. So I think for example, in Ayushman's case, I never really thought of him as a VJ. He was not like the quintessential MTV VJ. He was much more massy, desi, and catering to a wider audience. And I'm not saying this in any snobbish way, but his appeal was not necessarily an MTV audience. And when he did his first movie and the movies after that, you could see that this was what he was meant to do.
Yeah.
I think with Adi, it took a little bit longer.
Yes.
Because Adi is a bit more westernized and because he was that, very cool VJ and everything. So for Adi to find himself took a little bit longer, and for him to get those roles took a little bit longer. I think Malaika has been very clear that she was never really offered those kind of roles, nor did she think of herself too much to get into acting. She was doing the songs and the appearances and she was happy with that. And in my case also, I also was approached much more for songs. I think Pyar Ke Side Effects was one of the rare ones where I got a chance to perform. And I wish I'd had many more like that. With me, what happened was that mujhe wo mauka hi nahi mila to kind of push myself out of that zone and to do those kind of roles, because it was already, those guys were VJ. I was VJ and pop star.
Yeah.
So that was double baggage. And so for the producers to even give me that was harder. So I don't think I got a chance to really break out as much because I was either seen as the VJ or the pop star. So yeah, it was harder.
What are the three absolute musts one must have to be able to light up the screen the way you do in your songs, or perhaps as a VJ, even as an actor?
I think some people just have this, it's a quality which just comes from within, which is not tangible. You can't put your finger on it, but they come in front of the screen and they just literally light it up. There are some people who, when you meet them off screen, I hear this all the time from people, but wo to unko dekha tha, wo to aisa kuch nahi lag rahe the star type.
Yeah. That
but the thing is, when that same person comes on screen, they're explosive. Yeah. So there's some people who off camera are perhaps very different, and on camera they light it up. Some people are like that off camera and on camera. It's like a non-tangible thing. But I definitely think that one thing that does transcend the screen is honesty and sincerity in what you do. And I think people who are really honest and sincere about their work, they somehow manage to connect with people, and people can see it. They can see when you're being fake, and they can see when you're being real. And that's whether it's a song or any kind of role. And I think it's those two things. I think it's that magical quality, a certain kind of confidence and self-belief, and I think honesty. I think those qualities matter a lot.
What is your reading of the current scenario as far as the OTT and the way it is expanding? Vis-a-vis the way you perceive industry as a rank outsider, and you have come far, of course. Your journey has been incredible in that sense. So how do you view these two dynamics?
See, yeah, I am a complete outsider, and people have this perception that Sophie's friends with the entire industry. I know everybody, but has anybody helped me and given me work? Never. No. So dosti se kaam nahi milta hai. That's the most important thing, that people have this misconception. At least mujhe kabhi nahi mila hai. Whatever I've done off my own back. And as an outsider, it is really hard to make it in films for anybody. Insiders get the opportunity quicker. Do they become a success? Not necessarily. Outsiders perhaps get fewer opportunities, but if they become a success, it's there for all to see, be it a Karthik or an Ayushman. I mean, there's countless examples of people coming from outside. The OTT platform is perhaps giving the opportunity to many more people to perform. There are many more diverse roles. The perception before that if you do a small role in a movie, aapko bas zindagi bhar chote hi role milenge, that doesn't exist today. Okay. I remember being offered a movie by the incredible Vishal Bharadwaj ji. He wanted to put me in Maqbool in a small role, and at that time I said no, and I said no because at that time the industry was such कि अगर आपने एक छोटा role कर लिया उसके बाद आपको कुछ नहीं मिल सकता, आपको छोटे ही role मिलेंगे. But today, if you were to offer me, I would grab it with both hands. I mean, it's something he's probably still upset with me about, but I would grab it with both hands, because today things are so different that even if you have the tiniest role and you shine, you can get wonderful opportunities. So today is so much more about, can you stand out? Can you add value? And even if it's 2 or 3 scenes, are you that good that you stand out? Yes. But it was not like that before. I think that is an amazing change that has happened now. And you see it all around you. I mean, somebody like a Vikrant Massey, I mean, he's done so many roles and so many things. I either loved him even in Zoya's movie, Dil Dhadakne Do. He had such a sweet role. He was so sincere. And it's taken him time to get to this point. But he's played all his roles with that sincerity and that dedication, and it's brought him to that point. So today it's about that. And I think that's interesting and exciting.
My last question, will you try to explore another facet of your personality that we have not seen so far to be able to, you know, get that role that you denied in Maqbool, or perhaps the way the OTT platforms are evolving, you're getting that foot in the door to be able to shine through and through?
Honestly, I don't think I've ever really chased anything. I would love the opportunity to play like a more dramatic character, whether it's a spy or whether it's, you know, like a boss lady or, you know, anything. I would love the opportunity to play something like that, something with layers, something exciting. So if that happens, I will welcome it with open arms. Would I just like to be a glam doll for the sake of it, even on OTT? Definitely not. In that case, I'm much happier doing my own music videos, and maybe you'll see me producing something.
Here's hoping you will achieve what you want to achieve.
Thank you so
1.2 million views already and still counting.
Thank you.
Thank you.